Hi guys, it's Dicer Friend, and it's time for another Let's All Play Pokemon X and Y. So this week, my opponent will be Nicolas, once again another stranger from the Pokemon Wi-Fi network. I do have another battle lined up, or quite a few battles lined up with some of my viewers. So that's going to be starting next week, but I kind of want to do this kind of back-to-back thingy going on. Just because last week we had Umbreon trash team, but had trouble with Breloom. So this week, guess who's going to be our Pokemon of the week? It's going to be Breloom, the freaking mushroom fighter. Little back note, Breloom is actually one of my favorite Pokemon to use in battle. He is a beast. And he's a little gimmicky because he's one of the only Pokemon that can actually pull off what he does. But whatever he does it very, very well. He is scary at that. His typing is kind of an interesting one. It's a grass fighting type. And, you know, that's kind of interesting in itself because it actually brings about a lot of interesting resistances, but also a lot of interesting weaknesses. So it's a very, very vulnerable Pokemon. It's a glass cannon. As you can see in its like defenses, it's pretty flimsy in terms of its defenses are paper thin, but its attack is just through the roof. 130 attack is nothing to laugh at. That is just devastating attack power right there. But what makes Breloom special is that he has access to a move called Spore. Spore is a sleep-inducing move, and it's the only sleep-inducing move in the game that is 100% accurate. Other moves in Pokemon, I think Hypnosis has like a 60% chance of hitting, or 70 or something. Dark Void is one of the more accurate ones with 80%, and then Sleep Powders has 75%. But Spore has 100% accuracy, so it's going to hit every time, and there's only like a handful of Pokemon that know this move, so this is what makes Breloom a scary threat. And he also has 3 abilities that make him even scarier. He has Technician, Poison Heal, and Effect Spore. Well, Effect Spore is not really useful, but Poison Heal and Technician are the ones that we want to look at. Technician boosts weak moves by 50% more, so he has access to moves like Bullet Seed, so that gets powered up by a huge amount. And then he also has Mach Punch and Drain Punch, which also get boosted by Technician. So, in my opinion, Technician's the better. If you're looking for a sweeping set, Technician's the better, ability that you want. But if you're looking for more of a freaking like tankier set with Breloom, Poison Heal is definitely better. Just because Poison Heal, with Toxidor, he can actually heal up pretty quickly, and then he also has access to Leech Seed, which complements Poison Heal even more. So he really becomes tankier than you think. Which is pretty amazing with Breloom. That's why I like Breloom. Breloom is such a great Pokemon. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and introduce this team real quickly. It's kind of my baton passing team. I threw it together really quickly just because I wanted to demonstrate Breloom really badly. I want to demonstrate Breloom and Machamp pretty badly. So this was kind of the team that was set up. Basically replaced Breloom with Machamp, and it's pretty much the same team all over again. But anyways, we have Ninjask, who's the baton passer. He's kind of the core of the team because a lot of the team has slow speeds. Like Cloyster, Breloom, Heatran, they're not very fast Pokemon. Mew, he's fast, but he's not the fastest. He could use a little more speed. So Ninjask really helps that out a lot. He baton passes everything. And then we have Cloyster, who's kind of just there to clean up stuff, come in on a hard physical attacker just in case baton passer goes down. Go for a Shell Smash and clean up everything. Jolteon is the revenge killer, very fast, can freaking take out any threat once it's switched in, and then he also works well as a good scout, just in case someone goes down. I could use Volt Switch and get the heck out of there, just because I'm going to hit first anyways. Breloom is actually the core of the team, or the core of this episode at least. He's there to use Spore and just wail on opponents. It's kind of hilarious and adorable at the same time, just because he's freaking adorable. Look at that face. He's kind of creepy and adorable at the same time. It's kind of awesome. And then freaking Heatran, another Pokemon. He's very sturdy. He's a very sturdy Pokemon, but his speed lets him down. And, once again, he can use speed from Ninjask, and he's very powerful. He has Flash Fire that can kind of juke opponents as well, which is kind of funny, but he's there as a special sweeper. And then Mew is also another special sweeper, nasty plot user, and, once again, can use a lot of speed from Ninjask. Doesn't need much, but could use a little bit more. So anyways, that's the team, and let's go ahead and watch the battle. Alright, so Nicolas is issuing a challenge. I'm going to call him that right now, just because it's a fun way to say it, Nicolas. So anyways, I go ahead and send out my Ninjask as my lead. I always send out Ninjask as the lead on this team, just because the risk of Stealth Rocks actually can cut its hit points in half. And since it's bug flying, it's probably not a good idea. And as you can see, oh, Craig is his Pokemon. I was like, wait a minute, my opponent is Craig? I've been editing everything wrong, but Craig goes ahead and uses Stealth Rocks. Or Nicolas, I don't know, this is confusing. Why are you confusing me, Nicolas? So, it was a good thing I sent out Ninjask first, just because that Stealth Rock would have just hurt a lot, quite a bit. So, anyways, with that Stealth Rocks up, I have an opportunity to use Swords Dance, which is really, really good. Yeah, basically, whenever the other Pokemon does anything else but an attacking attack, my Ninjask can go ahead and set up some Swords Dance to support whoever's going to switch in. I mainly like to do it to switch into Breloom with it, but Breloom does have Swords Dance, so it's not a big deal if I don't get any off. It's more of a big deal when I use Machamp, because my Machamp is actually using an Assault Vest, which, you know, it can't use any freaking powering moves or powering up moves because of that. So it's better off if I use Swords Dance with other sweepers. But with Breloom, it's kind of easy just because Breloom can use Spore and then set up with the Swords Dance. But, you know, it's always good to have Swords Dance set up, but, you know. So right now in the battle, Nicolas is actually using a lot of Iron Defense to prepare for whatever is coming at him, I guess. But unfortunately, I don't think that's a very good idea. Defensive moves like Iron Defense, Barrier, I actually don't like them unless you're going on a full-out Baton Passing. They're not very good just because critical hits are actually, they hit more often in Pokemon X and Y, and critical hits always bypass that defense upgrade. So it's not a good idea to do it. And now since the critical hits are actually higher in chance, they're actually more and more critical hit builds. Focus Energy also got a buff, which actually increases critical hit chance. So, you know, those moves aren't actually very good or very reliable. So I don't like using them. So that's just my opinion on it. But anyways, I go ahead and Baton Pass to Breloom, who's named Bolin, and that is another Avatar reference if you guys watch that show, which is pretty fucking amazing. So right now, you know, I could have just finished off this this Gigalith if I wanted to, but I went ahead and demonstrated why Breloom is so scary. Without Swords Dance, like, this is what I would have done. I would have put it to sleep and then just started wailing on it, but normally you don't do that. Normally you do that, but with the Swords Dance, you probably don't need to. It's kind of overkill, but it's not unnecessary because, like, you can totally do it and, you know, you'll still be in the same position. It's just kind of a bit of a demonstration. So Bolin is actually holding a Life Orb. He shouldn't be holding a Life Orb for a Baton Passing team because originally I wanted this episode to be on Machamp, but that didn't work out. I went into this battle and I didn't realize I had my Breloom in my battle box instead of my Machamp. So I was like, oh gosh darn it. Well, this will work anyways, just because Breloom and Machamp are kind of similar. They're slow fighting types that are really deadly once they get their speed up. So once again, I go ahead and use Spore against this Gallade. I think it's a Gallade. Just because it's a fighting Psychic and I was afraid of just any Psychic. Basically anything super effective hitting Breloom, it's going to kill it in one hit. He is just not very tanky at all. But interesting thing about Breloom, he actually has a host of other builds that actually can make him quite tanky. He has a ability called Poison Heal, where if he gets poison and, you know, holding the Toxic Orb, you'll get automatically poisoned. He actually starts healing. And because of that, he actually can't get status by paralysis or burn or anything else that'll hinder him. So that actually makes him pretty bulky, and he actually has access to Leech Seed as well. So that can make him even bulkier. Yeah, I'm not really casting or talking about what's going on here, just because all I do is just wail on his opponent, just Spore and wail on him. So it's not really too interesting. I just want to go over more about Breloom just because he's so frickin' awesome. He's just an awesome player. He has a lot of builds, even though his move pool is pretty shallow. He has like Focus Punch builds just because his access to Spore makes him so unbelievably deadly. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how deadly he is. He has so many builds just revolving around Spore. He can have like stalling sets where, you know, stalling sets where he stalls with Focus Punch and or Drain Punch and Spore. So he can actually be pretty bulky and scary in the end. But anyways, that's the battle. So anyways, as you can see in this battle, Breloom is a scary threat to contend with. Even without the effects of Speed Boost from Ninjask, it can actually switch into a few threats due to its high number of resistances and use the opportunity to Spore and set up. Its access to priority moves and high damaging attacks almost guarantees at least a few knockouts. However, Breloom is extremely vulnerable to many priority attackers with super effective moves, and even a weak super effective move can take down the Mushroom Fighter. Anyways, thank you for playing with me, Nicholas. So if you guys like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow me on Facebook and Twitter for more info on the Let's All Play series. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I shall see you guys on the next one.